Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're taking a look at this week's Sunday Preview. This video is sponsored by CMO Games. More on that later. Sunday Preview. Unleash the Ruination Chamber. There's a lot to get through this week as the Stormcast Eternals respond to the Skaven advance in force. And they're pulling zero punches. We think Sigmar's really serious this time. Alright, so there is a little video right here, but we're going to take a look at the full article. So we've got a massive week of releases here with the pre-orders going up for all of the new Stormcast Eternals. Battletome Stormcast Eternals. Sigmar's shining champions are back on their feet and ready to repulse the teeming Skaven hordes with freshly updated rules, new miniatures, and more. It all kicks off with Battletome Stormcast Eternals, which will be available as a regular hardback in the convenient new Gamers Edition. So we've got the brand new Stormcast Eternals Battletome and then also the Gamers Edition, which is going to include the code as well as the cards. So very cool release. This new 152-page Battletome includes plenty of battle traits, battle formations, heroic traits, artifacts of power, spells, prayers, and manifestation lores, with a total of 60 war scrolls and full spearhead rules. It also updates a comprehensive section of Path to Glory campaign rules, so you can upgrade your characters and chart your army's progress through the narrative campaigns. Alright, and then next we have Iridan the Witness, and then also your optional assembly for the Lord Vigilant on Molygriff. So very cool model right here. We definitely have two amazing ways that you can build this. And once again, we see with like the Karazai Karandis kit that there are some slight modifications in the kit that are going to allow you to give this a unique look. Not only the riders change, but also the pose of the Griff changes slightly as well. Very cool. Definitely a nice centerpiece model. To end the life of another Stormcast Eternal is an unthinkable act, but there must always be a first. Iridan was the soul chosen by Morda for the uninviable task of ushering their comrades to oblivion once the curse of reforging had taken its toll. As a founder of the Ruination Chamber and the creator of the Memorian Order, Iridan is both a powerful warrior and a respected scholar who soars the battlefield mounted on the noble Morgriff Ariax. Alright, so very cool little bit of lore right here. Definitely very similar to the Blood Angels. Very similar to Astaroth the Grim, essentially ushering the Death Company into death once they have fallen to the Black Rage. Not uncommon to see Games Workshop sort of sharing its lore or using like similar aspects in its various games, but very cool nonetheless. Alright, and then we have Tornus the Redeemed, or alternatively you can build this as the Knight Azeros. So once again, a dual purpose kit right here. In this one, there's definitely a lot less of a change between like the ways you can build them, as essentially it's just a head swap between the unique character and the generic Knight Azeros. Tornus was once a mighty champion of the chaos dedicated to the plague gods Nurgle, but his death at the hands of the Celestant Prime sent his soul sailing back to Sigmar. Now freshly redeemed and dedicated to wiping his former allies from the mortal realms, Tornus has taken up the mantle of Knight Azeros and serves as a rallying beacon to other members of the Ruination Chamber. This new multi-part plastic kit can also be assembled as a regular Knight Azeros armed with either a sword or a Hellforged spear. So we do see the actual spear is built in both of them, so very similar, but you do have the sword option as well. Again, nice new kit right here, very cool. And then we have the release of the Lord-Celestant, and then you have some optional assemblies as well. So we can see with the sword and hammer in one, the fist forward, and then hammer in the other for the double-handed hammer, and then the hammer and shield for the other option. And then we have the Lord-Relictor, an absolutely beautiful model. Definitely a big fan of the new stuff coming out for the Stormcast Eternals, but I gotta say this is one of my favorites. Amazing detail on this, just a beautiful sculpt, and this is just a 10 out of 10 for me. As a High Priest of Sigmar and a powerful hero, the Lord-Relictor is an invaluable linchpin who bolsters flagging allies even as he blasts rampaging enemies with the fulminating energies of Azir. The new version of the classic hero also carries the remains of a revered human saint with them, while guiding the souls of their departed comrades safely back to their reforging. So the old model was definitely very cool, but this one is just a massive glow up. Very cool. And next we have the Lord-Terminos, and then again we see some optional assemblies, so you can do either with the sword or with the axe, and then you also have your little assistant as well, who serves as like a token in game terms, but a very cool model nonetheless. Though the gigantic axe carried by the Lord-Terminos reaps the bloody toll against his enemies, he has a second purpose, to end the lives of those Stormcast Eternals whose final threads have irreversibly frayed. These doomed souls come forth willingly to have their souls confirmed. These doomed souls come forth willingly to have their souls confined to oblivion, and the Lord-Terminos accepts their duty with solemn silence. Really nice looking model right here. And then we have the new Stormstrike Palladors. Stormstrike Palladors serve as the premier heavy cavalry of the Warrior's Chamber, and excel both at landing thunderous charges and striking into the protected melee with beak and blade. This unit of 3 Palladors has all the parts needed to equip them as champion, musician, and standard bearer, as well as lances or blades to reinforce a larger unit. So really cool new models here. We basically see a reimagination of an old kit. Very well done, nice dynamic poses, and some assembly options. So if you are running a unit of 6 of these guys, none of them are going to look exactly the same, so very cool. Now a quick message from today's sponsor. CMO Games has been selling Games Workshop products online for over 20 years. They carry the full line of Games Workshop products including Warhammer 40,000, Age of Sigmar, Necromunda, Blood Bowl, paint tools, and more. Almost all Games Workshop products are priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games takes pre-orders for most Games Workshop products released at their earliest date possible. 12:01 a.m. on Saturday, they go live. Most of these pre-order products are also priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games offer free shipping in the US 48 with an order of $50 or more. Their customer service is top-notch and they ship most orders within 24 hours. Visit CMOGames.com using the affiliate link in the description and let them know that you heard about CMO Games from Warhammer Man. Now, back to the video. And then we have the Liberators coming out here. So these were previously available in the Skaventide box set and then also come in the starter sets. And realistically, if you're after a bunch of these guys, definitely don't want to be buying this kit new from Games Workshop as they are readily available in numbers for substantially cheaper. And then we have the Prosecutors. Again, really nice models here. I love the dynamic poses, the tactical rocks. They've done a really good job with these. And again, if you're after these, definitely look at some of the other box set and options to pick these up at a substantially better price. And then we have the Reclusians, once again available in like the larger Skaventide box and some of the other sets. Really nice models here. Definitely a big fan of these. But again, much better off just picking up the Stormcast half of Skaventide if you're after a lot of these models, or just looking for them through a third-party vendor at a substantially cheaper price than new from Games Workshop. And then we have the Lord-Imperatant and Knight-Arcanum. So these are coming back. They were previously available in the last Age of Sigmar set, Dominion, and some of the starter sets as well, but now we see them coming back as individual models ready for purchase. And then we have the Stormcoven. So these models were previously only available in some other sets, and now they're coming for the purchase. This trio of Knights-Arcanum can join the main Stormcast Eternal roster as the mighty Stormcoven. Their unique spell allows them to bless ally units with Strike First or curse enemies with Strike Last, making them an important supporting unit for your elite damage dealers in combat. They were originally a unique warband found in Warhammer Underworlds, but have now been reforged as an unnamed unit. So very cool. Nice to see that you're going to be able to use your Underworlds models in Age of Sigmar or Big Sig. Very cool, unique models right here, and definitely the Strike First or Strike Last ability is massive. And then we have the Stormreach Portal. So finally, the Stormcast Eternals getting their own piece of faction terrain. Stormreach Portals are the first faction terrain piece for the Stormcast Eternals. Miniaturized versions of the crackling star bridges that hurl Sigmar's warriors into battle from Azure. It's more than just a beautiful addition to your terrain collection, as it can use the unique Step into the Storm ability to teleport entire units of Stormcast far across the battlefield. So very cool. Obviously the faction terrains in Age of Sigmar are free, so there's no reason not to include them. So it should be very popular for all of the people out there that have been or are looking to buy Stormcast Eternals in Age of Sigmar. And then we have the Warscroll Cards and dice set coming out as well. And then we have the individual release of the Ratling Warpblaster, another really cool model from the Dominion set, now being sold separately. And then we also have the Ravening Gnarloak showing up. This was previously supposed to be released, but must have gotten delayed, so that's coming out this week in the pre-orders. And then we have the new Servo Skull palette. So cool idea and everything right here, but definitely takes up a little more room on your actual desk than is necessary for a paint palette. It is made out of silicone, which is nice, but I suspect this is going to be massively overpriced. So unless you're just looking to pick this up for the novelty, it's definitely not going to be the most efficient palette out there, and it is definitely not going to be the most cost-effective option. And then we have the Stormbolt combat case. And this has those interesting little like silicone barbs to hold your models in place. I've heard some mixed results from people that have used these cases. Not my particular style, but overall seems like a novel idea. Theoretically going to protect your miniatures, keep them from bouncing around. But until I actually put something like this to the test, I really can't speak on its effectiveness and whether or not it's going to end up breaking your precious minis. And then from Black Library, we have the Ancients. We also have the First Founding Deluxe Edition, On the Shoulders of Giants and Other Stories. And then we have Cyphus Kane print on demand. So lots of cool stuff coming this week. Definitely an exciting week for those Stormcast Eternals fans out there, or people looking for some extra little like hobby widgets. Let me know what you're most excited about down below. Always like to hear back from you guys in the comments. And as always, special thanks to CMO Games for sponsoring the channel. Check out the link in the description to save 15% on most Games Workshop products. And make sure to tell them that Warhammer Man sent you. That's it for today. Warhammer Man Studios, I'm Warhammer Man. And it's time to officially unleash the Stormcast Eternals on Age of Sigmar. And I'm out of here.